Now the first thing, guys, we just need to create our project template, right? Project template means the project folder structure. Now you can create this project folder structure in two way. Either you can create manually. So you can see inside VS Code, we are having some button already. Let's say with the help of this button, I can create any kinds of file. Let's say test.py, right? And this button, we can create any kinds of folder. Let's say I'll create folder. Okay. So that's actually you can create folders and file inside Visual Code Studio. Now let's say inside this folder, I want to create another file. What I will do, I'll just write, let's say t.txt or anything you can give. It's up to you. Then let's say inside this folder, I want to create another folder. Let's say test folder. Okay. So that's actually you can create multiple folder, multiple files. Okay. Inside that it is possible. But whenever actually I'm talking about end-to-end project, so let me show you some end-to-end project, actually real world end-to-end project. So if you go to Google and search for any kinds of end-to-end project, real world end-to-end projects, let me tell you about, let's say scikit-learn. Okay, scikit-learn GitHub. So if I show you the scikit-learn GitHub implementation, see, this is the scikit-learn GitHub, guys. Okay, scikit-learn GitHub, I think you already know scikit-learn is a Python library for the data mining and machine learning algorithm. That means whatever machine learning related task you want to perform, you have to use scikit-learn for this. And this is a scikit-learn implementation. Okay, the entire end-to-end implementation. Now you can see it is having so many folders and file. So this is the root folder called scikit-learn. Inside that it is having all the component, you can see. Okay, let's say I will open this component ensemble. Inside ensemble, you are having all kinds of ensemble related functionality. Okay, now let's say if I open up anything, see, this is the code implementation. Okay, and even they are also using something called modular coding, that means OP concept, okay, in their implementation. Now you can see it is having so many folders and files, So this is called actually project folder structure. So scikit-learn is following this particular folder structure for implementing their implementation, right? So here we'll be implementing our project folder structure as well, so that we can also organize our code, right? So guys, what I have done, I already researched with these kinds of implementation. Like I saw different, let's say, real world project implementation. Then I created one of my actually project folder structure I usually use, okay, in my implementation. If you have any other idea, you can also create it. No need to worry. So I'll show you my project folder structure, how I usually create. So let me first of all delete. These are the folders. Now see, if I want to create those folders and file manually, so it will take lots of time, yes or no, because I have to manually create, and there is a possibility you may actually do the mistake, right? So instead of creating manually, what we'll do, we'll just try to create programmatically. That means here we'll be creating one file called template. Okay, template.py. Inside template.py, I'll be writing one Python script, and this Python script will automatically create my project folder structure. So it's just a one-time effort. After implementing this template.py, you can use this template for .py for implementing any kinds of project. Only you just need to change the project name and just need to execute. It will automatically create your project folder structure. Okay. So here, first of all, you need to import some library. So let's import operating system. Then I will also import pathlib. I'll tell you why pathlib is required. I need to import pathlib from pathlib import path. Okay, I need this path class exactly. Then I also need something called login, because I also want to perform the login operation, right? And what is login, what is exception, I already clarified inside my Python playlist, guys. So there you just check it out, because here I'm expecting you are already familiar with these are the concept. Okay, I'm not going to explain the fundamentals concept here, because this is a end-to-end implementation you are doing, so that I'm expecting you are already familiar with this kinds of concept, right? Okay. Now, how to create a logging string, I think you already know. So this is the logging string, guys. Let's say if I want to log some information, I need a logging string, right? So for this, I need to use this kinds of logging string. Okay, this is my login configuration. Go to the login documentation, you will see that people are using this kinds of login configuration. So it will save your ASCII time, that means the current timestamp, as well as the log message you want to also show, right? So this is what actually it will be doing. Now the next thing, I will mention my project name. What is your project name? So as of now, I have given it's a ML project. You can also give wine quality project. It's up to you. But here, I'll give you this code as a template, so that you can use this template for implementing any kinds of project. Okay, that's why I've given ML project. You can also change with your project name. Like I also showed you, scikit-learn implementation. You can see they are giving scikit-learn. Okay, inside scikit-learn, they're having all the functionality. Got it? So that's how actually you can select your project name. Then after that, I need to mention list of the folders and file I want to create here. See, I have created one Python list. So this is the Python list. Inside that, with the help of f string, I have mentioned the folder name as well as the file name. Now you can see I'm creating one src folder. Inside that, I'm creating this ml project, that means my project name. And inside that I'm creating one constructor file. Why constructor file? Because this is going to be my local package right now. If I show you, if I open the sklearn, inside sklearn also you will see this constructor file. See, okay, that means this sklearn would be considered as your local package. That means from the sklearn itself you can import any kinds of functionality. Let's say I want to import, anything. Let's say I will open this base.py. Let's say I want to import this clone actually function. What I will do, I'll just write from sklearn. Okay, I think you saw that. From sklearn dot base import clone. That's how we can do the import operation, and this is called actually modular concept. I already explained in my Python programming playlist. If you go to the last section, you will see that modular programming concept. So there I already clarified this concept, right? So this is called modularity, and whenever we are importing like that, right, that means this folder should be considered as my local package. That means my Python environment should know this is the folder, this is my local package right now, so that we can import anything from this package itself, right? So this is why actually we use this particular constructor file. Okay, constructor file, this because this constructor file will help me to identify this folder as my local package, and inside this folder I am having some of the component implementation. Okay, so that is why we are implementing this. So that's why we are getting this file constructor at the very first. Then we are getting the component folder. Inside component also we are getting the constructor, then utils, then common, config. I'll tell you each and everything, why utils, config, pipeline, entity. Okay, everything is required. I'll tell you each and everything. As of now, just try to consider these are the folders and file I have to create, okay, for my project folder structure. And apart from that, guys, I'm creating some more files. You can see like params, schema, main.py, app.py, requirement.txt, setup.py, research, okay, template, index.html, because here we'll be using Flask to create the web application. For this, I will be using this Flask framework, and Flask framework needs this template. That means HTML code to create the front-end application, right? So these are the folders and file as of now I need. So this is my folder, and inside that I'm having the file. This is my folder, inside that I'm having the file, and these are the individual file. Okay, so let's create, then it would be clear, okay, how it will create the project folder structure. So for this I have written one simple Python script, guys. So this is not very complex. See, this is a simple Python script. So first of all, what we are doing, we are looping through this list. You can see we are looping through the list, then we are getting the path one by one. Okay, then we are passing into the path class. Actually, why we are passing into the path class, let me show you one demo. So see, here we are using Windows machine. Yes or no? We are using Windows machine, and Windows by default use backward slash. If I show you, if I click here, it uses something called backward slash. But let's say you want to execute this project in the Linux operating system, or let's say Mac OS. That time definitely we have to use forward slash, because those operating system use the forward slash, right? So that is why here I have mentioned the forward slash. But here we are running this project in our like Windows machine. So sometimes Windows machine will give me the error, this path is not identified. Okay, so to prevent this kinds of issue, I am giving this path into the path class. This path class will automatically handle this situation. That means it will automatically detect my operating system. Based on that, it will convert that part. Let me show you one example. So first of all, let me import. So from first of all, I have to activate my Python. So this is my Python, guys. Now let's import the path. So from pathlib, okay, import path. Let's say I will create one path here. So path is equal to, let's say, test/test.py. Let's say as of now, just try to consider this is your path. Okay, this is your file path. Now I'll pass this path inside my path function. Now see what will happen. It will automatically detect it's a Windows machine. See, it's a Windows path. Got it? And if you pass it to the Linux, it will automatically detect the Linux machine, Mac OS machine, everything. Okay, so that's how we don't need to manually take care. These are the things. It will be taken care by my this function itself. Okay, this library itself. So that's how inside Python we are having so many library we can use for writing robust application, for implementing robust application. Okay, so as a programmer, guys, you always need to create your application robust so that it won't be failing in the production. Your code won't be breaking in the production. Okay, I hope it is clear now. Now after getting the full file path, what I'm doing, I'm just extracting the folder as well as the file. That means I'm extracting the folder name as well as the file. How? With the help of this os.path.split. Let me show you another demo how it will give you the folders and file separately. So I'll open up my terminal again. So let's import operating system OS. Then if I pass this path to my this function, let's say os.path.split. Okay, inside that I'm going to pass this path. Now see, it will give you two actually things. One is the folder and this is the file in a tuple format. You will see that this is the folder and this is the file, and we are unpacking it. I think you know how to perform the tuple unpacking. And after unpacking, folder would be stored in the file directory and file would be stored in the file name. Okay, after that we are creating the folder, okay, with the help of os.make directories. And after that, and after creating the folder, we are also creating the file. Okay, we are opening the file, and this is an empty file. Okay, I want to create, I don't want to create anything, that's why I'm passing the pass operation. And before that, I'm checking two conditions. If this file is not exist and this file size is 0, that means if it is an empty file, then I will try to create it, otherwise I won't be creating. Let's say in this file I'm having some code implementation, so I won't be replacing that file, right? So this file should be skipped, so that is why this condition is required. Then after that, I'm doing the login operation. You can see with the help of logging.info. Okay, so it will show you the log in the terminal. Then if this file is already exist, it will give you one exist message. Okay, that's it. So this is the simple implementation I have done in the template.py. Now let me execute and let me show you the magic, how it will create the project folder structure. So I'll open up my terminal. I will exit my Python. Let me clear. So simply just write Python template.py. Now see, if I execute this line, okay, just see the magic. Left hand side, I don't have any folders and file. Now if I execute, see the magic, guys. Automatically it has created my project folder structure. Amazing, right? So now let me verify whether it has created everything or not. You can see, guys, src. So open the src. Inside that you can see ml project has created. That means my root folder. Inside that, constructor has also created. So let me show you the constructor. See, __8__.py. Then component, inside component again one constructor, then config. So you can see the config inside that one constructor, and configuration.py as well. And constant, inside that I'm having one constructor. Okay, then we have created entity. You can see the entity. Then pipeline, you can see the pipeline. Then utils, you can see the utils as well. Okay, everything is created, guys, automatically. Okay, I don't need to create manually right now. Okay, manually will take time. With a few seconds, I created my entire project folder structure. Apart from that config, inside that I'm having the YAML file, the research, I'm having the notebook file, and all the separate file has been also created. You can see template also created. Inside that I'm having the index.html as well. I will discuss each and every file, why it is required. Let's say why config YAML is required, why params YAML is required. I'll discuss each and everything. No need to worry. As of now, just consider this is my project folder structure. That's it. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now let's see, in future you need to create some other files and folder. Then what you need to do, you just need to add inside this list. Let's say I want to create another file called test.py. So make sure it should be a string test.py I want to create. So what I will do, I'll just open up my terminal and I will execute this command again, python template.py. Now see, it will create this test.py automatically, right? That's how you can create thousands of files and folder in just one shot. Now let me delete it. It is not required. Now let's commit the changes in my GitHub. So you can commit from your Git bash as well. You can also commit from your VS Code. So let me show you the Git bash, how it can be done. So just write git add space dot, then git commit. Okay, -m. This is the commit message. So folder structure, add it, then git push origin main. This is the main branch. Okay, now if I hit enter, see this is updated in my GitHub. Let me show you. So if I open up my GitHub and if I refresh, guys, you can see my project folder structure has been updated. Okay, now you can start this repo. You can also fork it. It's up to you. And make sure you start the repo, guys. So if you're studying, that means other people can also get to know this is one amazing repository, so that they can also refer if they want to learn something, right? Okay,